Joining me now is Mike Papantonio, who has filed a class action suit in 3 states on behalf of fishermen, oystermen, and other business owners affected by the Gulf spill. Mike, thank you for coming back. That thought I had, it wasn't meant to be clever. They're in over their head. I don't know, based upon a long conversation today with Bob B., who knows this stuff, the guy from Berkeley, that they have the capacity, that there is any existing capacity to stop this leak.
Well, I have great respect for David Axelrod. I know you do too, Chris, but it's wishful thinking. What we just heard is wishful thinking. Look, the bad news is you have people like Matthew Simmons, very well respected, says unequivocally that you can't stop this leak. You can't stop the leak until the two pressure gradients match up, until the well goes dry or until the pressure gradients match up. He says you can talk about it. It sounds good. You can put a 4-inch pipe in there and tell somebody you're doing something. You can talk about Dr. Chu and what a clever man he is. You can talk about this wish to get along. But the truth is, if you believe Matthew Simmons, Simmons was the energy advisor for George Bush, for God's sakes. This is not a tinfoil hat moonbat. He says that this won't stop. I hope he's wrong, Chris, but I hate to hear the talk coming from David Axelrod like we're all in this together and everything's going to be okay. There are two different issues here. Stop the leak. The other issue, though, is clean up the mess. They know how to clean up the mess. Back in Saudi Arabia in 1994, they had a $700 million gallon spill. And you know what they did, Chris? They brought in tankers from all over the world and they sucked it up out of the bays and they treated it. And you know what? They cleaned up 85% of it. You know why? You know where those tankers are right now? They're filled up. They're waiting for the market to change so they can go unload in Asia, in Europe. Those tankers have the technology and the ability to suck it right out of the water and treat it. They're two different issues. The leak may never stop. But for Axelrod not to address the real problem, the entire Gulf Coast is dying because right now Obama has the bully pulpit. You want to know the most effective thing Obama has control of? That's the bully pulpit, and he needs to sound like Huey Long right now, not Gandhi. We're tired of the Gandhi speech. We're tired of Kumbaya. I'm tired of the David Axelrods saying we have Dr. Chu and we're going to solve this problem. You can't even taste the anger down here. It's beyond belief. People are angry about the fact we have brown pelicans so soaked that they have to hobble around on their knees. They can't even fly. Pelican eggs found in Louisiana nesting grounds that are completely destroyed. Virtually impossible to clean up those areas. 65 miles of shoreline is covered in oil today, Chris. Cleanup workers are being hospitalized because of the toxins involved. And Axelrod tells us that he's trying. Look, I respect David Axelrod. I respect Obama. But we have to be honest with ourselves. He needs to use the bully pulpit to do what he does best. Sound like Huey Long, not like Gandhi. And you'll see those tankers come to this Gulf.
Well, Huey Long had some strengths, and one was that he could rabble people up when they had to get rabbled up. And here's the question I have. If you're right, and that seems to be right, that they can't solve this problem, that all this talk is from about they're going to go down there and try to fix it in this week, and they're going to have a 6 in 10 chance, and maybe they'll get around to it in 2 months, is all BS from BP. If that's the case, then this is horrific. Have you any idea how much oil will come out of the ground? I'm estimating if you just double what's come out already, because it's 2 more months of 1 month's effort, we're up to almost 200 million gallons of oil in that that bay, in the Gulf. And if you figure it's never going to stop until it's empty, how much oil is that?
I can't give you that answer, but I can tell you this
millions thing.
Look, our people are telling us, based on the photos, the camera work that they finally saw at the bottom of the Gulf, that it could be as high as 4 million gallons a day. And you still have BP, and you still have the government talking like it's 250,000 gallons. They know it's not. But why is there this relationship between government and BP? This is a corporate felon. These people are people
what I think the answer is? Once again, we've allowed us, too big to fail. We've got it in the oil industry now. The only people we can go to is the oil company that caused the trouble to solve the problem. It's like getting Al Capone to clean up Chicago. I mean, it's just unbelievable. You're asking it. Anyway, Mike Papantonio, thank you, sir. I think you're right on the emotional level. I think you're right on the facts.